welcoming you all to news at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mahmoudur Rahman. The headlines there were from the major stories covered in this bulletin. Let's move on to details of those and others. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has laid importance on chain of command at all levels in the armed forces, saying command channel in force is one of the main features of a disciplined force to perform its duties and achieve the desired goals. Effective command channel plays an important role in resolving any action in the army, she said. The Prime Minister was addressing a function at Dhaka Cantonment on the occasion of President's Guard Regiment's 43rd founding anniversary today. On her arrival at the PGR headquarters, the Prime Minister was received by Army Chief General Aziz Ahmed and PGR Commander Brigadier General Muhammad Jahangir Harun. A smartly turned out guard presented state salutes to the Prime Minister. Sheikh Hasina said her government has set specific targets to free the nation from hunger and poverty by 2020, when the nation would celebrate the birth centenary of the father of the nation. Focusing on the country's development during the tenure of her government, the Prime Minister said the government is working amid many challenges. Referring to the false allegations of corruption by the World Bank, she said the government is constructing the Podda Bridge with its own resources. As a recognition of development and progress, Bangladesh has already reached the developing world from the LDCCs, she said. The country has also entered a new era through launching of Bangabandhu satellite into space. The Prime Minister extended her sincere greetings and congratulations to all members of the Guards family on the occasion of its founding anniversary of the regiment. The Prime Minister exchanged pleasantries with all officers and junior commissioned officers. She also met the relatives of the officials who died on duty and gave them gifts and donations. The newly elected Mayor of Khulna City Corporation and councillors took oath at a function at Prime Minister's office today. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina administered the oath to Mayor Talukdar Abdul Khalik, while the councillors took oath from Minister for LGRD and Cooperatives Khandakar Musharraf Hussain. The election to Khulna City Corporation was held on the 15th of May 2018. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister urged the newly elected mayor and councillors to work sincerely for the people, irrespective of their political and ideological views. Congratulating the newly elected representatives of Khulna City Corporation, the Prime Minister said her government believes in equal development of every area. So every elected representative would get same opportunities from the government for development of his or her area. Highlighting the steps being taken by the government for development of Khulna, the Prime Minister said the rail line on Podda Bridge will go up to Mongla. She said the government is also taking steps for sweet water supply and desalinization of the water in the area. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has assured the new ambassador of European Union, EU, of a free, fair and credible general election to be held at the end of this year. The Awami League had to struggle for protection of the democratic rights of the people when state power was confined in the cantonment. She said this when new EU envoy Rensia Tering called on her at her office this morning. Briefing reporters after the meeting, Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ihsanul Karim, said the Prime Minister's comments came in response to the EU envoy's hope for a transparent and credible election. Sheikh Hasina and the envoy expressed satisfaction over the existing cordial relations, the press secretary said. As the Rohingya issue came up in the discussions, the Prime Minister said Rohingyas are creating immense burden on Bangladesh economy. She said as the next-door neighbor, Bangladesh is engaged in dialogue with Myanmar and other bordering countries of Myanmar to resolve the problem.
Newly appointed 6 envoys presented their credentials to President Mahmoud Abdul Hamid at Bangu Bhavan today. Ambassador of Croatia to Bangladesh, Peter Jubicic, High Commissioner of Ghana, David Goldwyn Pollard, and newly appointed High Commissioner of Namibia to Bangladesh, Puis Dunaiski, separately presented their credentials to President Mahmoud Abdul Hamid at Bangu Bhavan this afternoon. On arrival at Bangu Bhavan, the new envoys were given Guard of Honor separately by a contingent of President Guard Regiment. Welcoming the new envoys of Croatia, Guyana and Namibia, President Mahmoud Abdul Hamid said Bangladesh always gives priority to the expansion of the bilateral relations in the field of trade and investment. The President expressed hope that the relations of their respective countries with Bangladesh would be strengthened during their assignments in Bangladesh. During meeting, the new envoys of Croatia, Guyana and Namibia lauded the socio-economic development of Bangladesh and sought the President's cooperation in discharging their duties. Foreign Secretary and Secretaries to the President were present. Later, newly appointed High Commissioner of Nigeria to Bangladesh, Chris Sunday Eze, Ambassador of Venezuela, Augusto Montiel, and newly appointed High Commissioner of Zambia to Bangladesh, Judith Kesashi K. Kangoma, Kampi Jim Panga, presented their credentials to President Mahmoud Abdul Hamid at Bangu Bhavan. On arrival at Bangu Bhavan, the new envoys were given Guard of Honor separately by a contingent of President Guard Regiment. Welcoming the new envoys of Nigeria, Venezuela and Zambia, President Abdul Hamid said the foreign policy attaches importance to bilateral and friendly relations with all. The President also sought intensified cooperation from international community so that the displaced Rohingyas can return to their homeland with dignity and honor. During meeting, the new envoys of Nigeria, Venezuela and Zambia lauded the government's initiatives taken for rehabilitating over 1 million Rohingyas who fled to Bangladesh territory from the Rakhine State homeland of Myanmar. The envoys said they would do everything necessary to increase bilateral cooperation with Bangladesh in the days to come. Foreign Secretary and Secretaries to the President were present. A total of 144, including public and private universities, have been doing educational activities in the country. Education Minister Nurul Islam Nahid told this while replying to a question in the question-answer session in the Parliament today. Earlier, the sitting of the House resumed this afternoon with Speaker Dr. Shireen Sharmin Chaudhry in the chair. In reply to a question, the minister said of the total, some 41 public universities and 103 private universities are involved for education in the country. In response to another question, Education Minister told the House that the government would construct 3,000 new school buildings at a cost of 10,694 crore taka. Replying to a question, Commerce Minister Tofail Ahmed, on behalf of Social Welfare Minister, told the House that the government has a plan to establish intellectual disability schools in the Upazila level across the country. The sitting of the House will resume in the afternoon on Sunday. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry has said all have to work unitedly to strengthen awareness about the adverse effects of tobacco product. The Speaker said this while a 6-member delegation led by Bangladesh Anti-Tobacco Alliance Coordination, Saifuddin Ahmed, called on her at সংসদ Bhavan in Dhaka today. Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry said the present government is committed to ensure health services to all. She also said government is working relentlessly to reduce public health risks.
Commerce Minister Tufail Ahmed has said Bangladesh will set another instance by implementing Sustainable Development Goals SDGs on time, as was the case with Millennium Development Goals MDGs. He said this while addressing a national conference on SDGs at Bangabandhu International Conference Centre in the capital today. General Economic Division, GED of Planning Commission and Governance Innovation Unit of Prime Minister's Office organized the 3-day national conference on the review of SDGs implementation. BRAC founder and chairperson Sir Fazle Hassan Abid spoke as special guest with Chief Coordinator on SDGs Affairs of Prime Minister's Office Muhammad Abul Kalam Azad in the chair. The seminar was also addressed by Anti-Corruption Commissioner Dr. Muzammil Haq Khan and GED member Dr. Shamsul Alam. Mentioning that Bangladesh started working to attain SDGs in 2015 and the first phase of it has been completed on June the 30th, the Minister revealed that the mid-term phase to attain the goals will be completed in 2020, while the long-term phase will end in 2030. The United Nations has set 17 goals with 169 targets and 241 indicators to attain UN Sustainable Development. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Abul Hassan Mahmood Ali, Education Minister Nurul Islam Nahid and Agriculture Minister Motia Chaudhry took part in separate sessions at the National Conference on Review of SDG Implementation in Dhaka today. Education Minister Nurul Islam Nahid said government emphasized to ensure up-to-date education curriculum with a mixing of science and technology. Foreign Minister A.H. Mahmood Ali urged international community to help Bangladesh to tackle the Rohingya crisis. Agriculture Minister Begum Motia Chaudhry underscored the need for united efforts from the people and government officers and employees to attain the Sustainable Development Goals. Information Minister Hassanul Haq Inu has said politics of peace, free of terror and militancy is needed for sustainable development. He made the comment at parallel session 3 of National Conference on Reviewing SDGs in the capital today. Among others, Chairman of Bangladesh Institute of International Strategy Studies, Ambassador Munshi Faiz Ahmed, Secretary Security Division of Home Ministry Farid Ahmed Chaudhry, and Senior Secretary Law and Parliamentary Affairs Ministry Muhammad Shahidul Haq spoke on the occasion. The Information Minister said poverty and disparity must be reduced to attain SDGs. He said the government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is doing its best to raise the living standard of the backward section of people. Meanwhile, State Minister for Public Administration Ismat Ala Sadiq was present at the parallel session 1. PKSF Managing Director M.A. Karim, former Cabinet Secretary Ali Imam Mojumdar and Dr. Shahadat Hussain spoke among others at the event.
And now on to international news. China's Commerce Ministry has said the United States is opening fire on the entire world, warning that Washington's proposed tariffs on Chinese goods will hit international supply chains. The ministry spokesman told reporters in a regular briefing yesterday. The comments come a day before Washington and Beijing plan to implement tariffs against each other's goods amid an escalating trade conflict that has roiled financial markets. Myanmar has detained dozens of Rohingya refugees who try to return home. The UN Human Rights Chief said, questioning the sincerity of Myanmar's government purported repatriation program, Myanmar has said it stands ready to welcome back some of the 7 lakh Rohingya Muslims who have fled to Bangladesh since August. But so far, fewer than 200 have been resettled in their homeland in northern Rakhine State. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zeid Ra'ad Al Hussein, said his office had received reports that 58 Rohingya who tried to make it back to Rakhine were arrested and convicted on unspecified charges. And now some other national news. The results of this year's Higher Secondary Certificate, HSC, and its equivalent examinations will be published on July 19. Education Minister Nurul Islam Nahid will hand over the results to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at her office residence Gana Bhavan around 10 a.m. on that day. Later, the minister will formally announce the results at a press briefing at his office around 12:30 p.m. A total of 13,11,457 students participated in this year's Higher Secondary Certificate, HSC, and its equivalent examinations, which were held from April 2 to May 23. Finance Minister Abul Mal Abdul Mohid has said that without education, development of any nation was not possible, as development alone was the key for progress for the country. The minister said this after inaugurating the new academic building of Nurul Huda High School at a function held on the school ground at Parbotipur Upazila in Dinajpur today. Minister for Primary and Mass Education Mustafizur Rahman and former Secretary to the Economic Relations Division and Chairman of Anirban Bangladesh, Lutfullahil Majid, addressed the function with Chairman of the School Governing Committee A.M. Mohammed Nurul Anam in the chair. The Finance Minister urged the parents to become friends of their children, give them time and encourage them as inspiration leads a man far and wide.
Now some news of the weather. Light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind and lightning flashes are likely to occur as forecast by the Dhaka Met Office at many places over the country in 24 hours as of 6 p.m. tomorrow. Due to the heavy rainfall, there may be possibility of landslides at hilly regions of Sylhet and Chittagong. The day and night temperature may rise slightly over the country during the period. On now to